So the algorithm that we considered to compute the Fibonacci number modulo 10 in the previous one was based on recursion. The problem with the recursion was that it took exponential time, because in order to compute f of n, it was computing f of n minus 1 and f of n minus 2 recursively, and in order to find f of n minus 1, again it find f of n minus 2 and f of n minus 3 and so on. So you were computing the same number again and again multiple times. That's what made the algorithm exponential. So we want to get rid of this, and we don't want to repeatedly compute the same number again and again. So what we do is, in this algorithm, is to keep track or store the f of n values that have been constructed in the previous algorithms, previous iterations. We start with f of 0 and f of 1, which values are already given. So f of 2 will be defined as f of 0 plus f of 1 percentile 10, and in general you can just write a loop to get f of n by looking at f of n minus 1 plus f of n minus 2, which are already stored in the form of an array. So we'll look at the more details about this algorithm in this video.
So in the last class we were trying to compute this function f of n is equal to f of n minus 1 plus f of n minus 2 modulo 10. So we have seen one simple algorithm which is based on exponential which took exponential time in linear space. So if we had to compute for the f of 100, this algorithm would take a few days. So our objective is to look at an efficient algorithm which will compute this. So one important observation here is that f of n value is defined as f of n minus 1 plus f of n minus 2 modulo 10. So we could store all the previous values of f of n in an array, and when you have to compute f of n, you have to just add the previous two numbers. Instead of going for recursion, we can just add the two numbers. So in other words, f is an array, f of 0 is defined as 0, f of 1 is defined as 1, and for I is equal to 2 to n, so what you basically do is that f of n is declared as f of n minus 1 plus f of n minus 2 modulo 10. So when you do this, this is exactly what we want. We will basically do one addition, two subtractions, and one modulo operation, of course, and there is a loop which is running. So the number of computations that you do is number of additions, if you look at, is n, right? So if you had to compute for value, let's say n is equal to 10 to the power 6, you can declare an array of size f will be an array of size 10 to the power 6, and you can compute this in few microseconds. But what is the largest n for which this will give us the correct answer in 1 second? So that depends on what is the largest integer array that you can declare in your computer. If it is 10 to the power 6, then you will be able to find the answer for this in 10 to the power 6. But if I want to go beyond 10 to the power 9, let's say that I want to compute the f of 1 billion, that is f of 10 to the power 9. So in this algorithm will not be able to compute this, because I need an array of size 10 to the power 9, which I don't have. If I try to declare a size of an array of size 10 to the power 9, I got a segmentation fault. So this algorithm will help us to compute up to 10 to the power 6, but this will not help us to go beyond 10 to the power 6. In summary, so this takes linear amount of time, because you will be doing n additions, and the number of operations that you will be doing is proportional to the number of additions that you are doing. So the constants don't matter. When I write it as theta, if t of n is the number of operations this algorithm does, this will be theta of n, t of n can be written as theta of n. So in other words, this algorithm is linear time algorithm. But space is the bigger issue here, because if I have to do this, I need an array of size 10 to the power 6, right? So I need an array of size n. So this algorithm takes both linear time and more. This takes linear time as well as linear space to compute this. So time wise, this looks okay. but the space wise it takes too much of space to store all the numbers. So this algorithm can be used if you want to find f of n up to 10 to the power 6. But if you want to use, if you want to find f of n for n is equal to 10 to the power 9, then this algorithm cannot be used because we don't have so much of space. So let's look at modify this algorithm slightly and try to get an algorithm which requires lesser amount of space.
So what we have seen so far is that by storing the values that have been computed in a array, so we can make this algorithm to run in linear time. But unfortunately, since we are declared an array and storing all the values that have been computed in the array, it requires linear space. But if you notice carefully, so in order to define compute f of n, you just need the previous two values. But this algorithm that we just described stores all the previously computed values. You need not store all the previously computed values. What you need to store is just the last two values. Okay, so and update this value based on the last two values and then compute f of n. So this reduces the space required from linear space to the constant space, retaining the time complexity at linear time. Let's continue to look at the details of this algorithm.
So what we need to notice is that in order to compute f of n, we just need the previous two values, that is f of n minus 1 and f of n minus 2. But this algorithm keeps track of all the values that you have computed so far. That is precisely the reason why this algorithm uses linear space. So instead of storing all the previous values, we may just keep track of the last two numbers, because f of n is the sum of the, will only depend on the last two numbers but not everything that you have computed so far. So there is no need really to store all the values that you have kept so far. We need to keep track only the last two numbers. So that's precisely this simple algorithm tries to do. A is declared as f of 0, which is 0, B is declared as f of 1, which is 1, and C is initialized n. For I is equal to 2 to n, so what you declare is that C is A plus B percentile 10. So this is the final answer that you are going to return after you come out of this loop. But when you come back to the next while loop, so A is keeping, the invariant that you follow when you go inside this loop is A will keep track of C, you are trying to compute f of n. A will be f of n minus 1, n minus 2, and B will be f of n minus 1. So when you come back to the next iteration, so your A will be B and B will be C. Essentially what you are keeping track is the A and B are the previous two values. When you come back to the function again, B will keep track of f of n minus 1 and A will have the value of f of n minus 2. So this is a very simple algorithm, modification to the previous algorithm. Instead of using a linear array, so what we just use is three variables, so A, B and C. The amount of space that requires suddenly becomes constant time, constant space instead of linear space, but this algorithm still requires linear time, because there is a while loop, you have to add n numbers. The amount of time that is required is linear, but the amount of space that requires is only constant. So if you want to compute the f of n value for n is equal to 10 to the power 9, so this algorithm requires only three variables. The amount of space that it requires is only order 1, but it since it only does linear amount of computation, it does about 10 to the power 9 additions. So this algorithm can compute the answer up to 10 to the power 9. In summary, we have seen three algorithms. The first algorithm that we have seen is exponential time and linear space. This could only compute up to 40. It could not compute for value is equal to n is equal to 100 in 1 second. Then we designed another algorithm which was basically storing all the previous values. This took linear time, but it also, since it stored all the previous values, it took linear amount of space. So this using the second algorithm, we could compute f of n for value n is equal to 10 to the power 6, but it could not go beyond 10 to the power 6 because the space became an issue. So the exponential time was made to linear time, but the space constraint remained the same. So we designed the third algorithm where we just kept track of the last two values, but we added all the n numbers. In order to compute f of n, you need n additions. So the amount of time that is required in the third algorithm is same as the amount of time that is required in the second algorithm, but the amount of space, instead of using an array of size n, what we used is only 3 variables. So this becomes a constant space. So in the first algorithm we could go up to 40, in the second algorithm we could go up to 1 million, and in the third algorithm we are able to go up to 1 billion. So using the third algorithm, f of n can be computed for n value up to 10 to the power 9. So the third algorithm is more efficient than compared to the second algorithm, and the second algorithm is certainly much faster than, more efficient than the algorithm 1. So now let's turn the question. I want to compute this function. I want to compute this function for when n is a 1000 digit number. I give a 1000 digit number. I want you to compute f of n. Is there an algorithm which can do this efficiently? I want to compute this in less than almost a second on a laptop. So the previous algorithm, if I have to use it, the third algorithm, I have to, so the number is a 1000 digit number. So the number, if I represent as a decimal number, it will be about 10 to the power 1000. We are only able to do up to a 9 digit number, that is we can go up to 10 to the power 9. But if I have to compute 10 to the power 1000, the third algorithm cannot be used, because if I have to do compute it for 10 to the power 1000, since it's a linear time algorithm, so this will take 10 to the power 1000 number of operations which cannot be done in a couple of years. So we need something which is much faster than linear time. So we will see 2 more algorithms in the next 2 videos and see how this can be done efficiently.